All right, folks, it's our first episode of a book review, and it's crazy because this all started with helping some friends out, and we used to sit at the lounge smoking some cigars, drinking our favorite Scotch, bourbon, whiskey, vodka, and they were like, "Sherm, you should write a book," and I was like, "You're crazy." Like, no, really, you always sit here and help people, and you should write a book. And I was like, yeah, who the hell's going to read that? So it's funny how it all started. But when I read the book or wrote the book originally, um, like most things I've done, I had no idea what I was doing. I had a friend help me who had written his book. Um, and then I hired a ghostwriter to help me with some of the writing and some of the punctuation and grammar and all that stuff because I'm horrible at all that. So I hired somebody to help me kind of keep you can't always tell stories and write a book at the same time. You got to have some content. So I needed some help with all that. So then I started surrounding myself with people that either written a book, are good at copywriting, or good at grammar and proofreading and all that kind of stuff. And you can see it's live because my phone just beeped. But yeah, so and then we went through it and we argued about how many chapters. We fought about what would be in it and how we should do it. And what I really wanted was I just wanted like a kind of like a Cliff Notes version, like a of like 8 of the most important things I think that every entrepreneur should know, should do, should have, should be looking for. Because when I started this journey back in '98, we didn't have all these podcasts. We didn't have, the success gurus, the small business coaching, all this kind of stuff out there. It was you kind of like flew by the seat of your pants, and there was a couple government agencies that would help you. And it was kind of crazy, and if there's anything that I had as a characteristic as a small business owner, it was the work ethic. I was never afraid of work, and still is. I still do. I still probably put in more hours than most people in a day. May not be the same kind of work. I may not be physically attached to something or in an office, but I'm constantly working on one of the 4 areas that I make money in. This is one of them. Is in the business coaching area, writing the book kind of thing, and I'm always trying to figure out how do I make things better. So I went back and I read the book, and it's good, but it can be better. And I think what it's missing is missing some Shermisms, some Sherm stuff. And I put a few things in there, but originally when I wrote it, I didn't want it to be about me, Sherm, 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 Sherm. I wanted it to be about like here's like some things to do. Here's some um, strategies, some techniques, what you should be looking for, why it should be, and then and I think I missed the mark because I didn't add the realism of what happened and why it happened and why I got to the decision of, okay, this is really what you need. So I'm once a week, I'm gonna take a chapter, and I'm just gonna pick a paragraph or a couple paragraphs, and I'm going to go through in a 15-20 minute version of why it was, and probably give you a couple personal stories, because I've been involved in so much and have made so many choices and decisions. And what I tell people is that there's never really a bad decision. It's a decision that didn't work out the way you originally thought it to be. Because I hate when people use the word mistake because it has such a negative connotation, but we make 1,000 mistakes a day. And no matter what you do, whether it's at work, your personal life, like you make choices that didn't work out exactly how you thought they were going to work out. So we call them mistake. And as soon as you hear mistake, you the next thing is like, this is BS. Like I keep trying and it never works our way. Well, when has it ever really worked your way? There's nothing you've really done one time and it's had the outcome you wanted. I mean, think about it. Let's be honest. Let's really sit down and be honest with ourselves and honest with anything you've ever done. I don't care if you play a sport, an instrument, your act, you dance, you whatever it is. You didn't get on the dance floor the first time, and you all of a sudden you're an expert, winning trophies, medals, and all that kind of stuff. It took a lot of practice. It took a lot of time, and we get caught up in that minutia that we want to leave one thing to go to another thing, and we want it to be successful, immediately. Well, what's funny is that a lot of this happened to me over so many periods of time that, what you realize sometimes is what you think success is, or what your big aha thing is because of the pain you're feeling today. It's because of what you're trying to work yourself out of today. And once you get yourself in better situations and move up the ladders, whatever they are in each one of the categories of your life, you may not have that same goal. That dream may not be quite the same. Or you achieved the things and they were like, this is it all the way up here. And you suddenly realize that didn't mean as much as I thought it was going to mean. So, it's constant learning. And I think of all the golden nuggets in this book and all the golden nuggets you can listen to me of all the millions of dollars that I made and the millions of dollars I threw and washed down the toilet, the sink, the drain, and the sewer, trying to do this and trying to do that. At the end of the day, the number one thing that you really need to work on and really need to focus on is just making yourself 1% better than you were yesterday. That's all it is. It really is, because at the end of the day, man, when you do that and when you figure that out, you figure that that's really what it is. It's not the money. It's not the house. It's not the cars. It's not all the shit you have. I'm telling you. And they always say, well, it's always funny coming from somebody that had everything. I had nothing. I was living on my best friend's fucking couch, people. Like, I had shit in between the two companies. I had busted it up so bad. I had run the train in the brick wall and killed everybody on the train. And I literally was living in a house that was being foreclosed on. Every time I heard the bus come around the corner from coming down 8th Street, I thought it was a repo truck coming to take and start me the hell out of my house on 8th Street. Like, it's not about that, and that's what I found out is when you go and ride that ride and that wave and that high and you have all that, all it did was make me a bigger asshole than I already was. Like, it's not the money, it's you. You have to figure out who you are. My second divorce happened because I looked in the mirror one day and I said to myself, who in the fuck are you, Sherm? Like, seriously, like, who have you? And it was Michael back then, because I was still in the mortgage industry and doing the cleaning company and all that kind of stuff. And I looked in the mirror and I said, who are you? Like, this isn't you. You're acting like crazy. And that was the start. That was the aha. I mean, that doesn't mean anything really changed in that moment, but I remember that moment like it was yesterday. So I got done taking a shower, was getting ready to go to work, and check on the cleaning company and then head over to the mortgage company and then check on my real estate properties and all that stuff. And I got out in the mirror and I looked at myself and I had that moment of like, who is that person? Like, who are you? And I just couldn't do it anymore. Like, I couldn't just be that superficial asshole that had no substance to their life. So, and not everything has to be as crazy as it was for me. Like, you didn't have to be living these crazy lives with all this crazy drama in it constantly. But, at the point I stopped and I was like, wow, this is not me. It's not who I am, not who I want to be, and I made that step and said, all right, things have to change. You know what I mean? And I didn't know what the answers were, but I made decisions. And, the first decision was I'm done with the cleaning company. And everybody goes, why didn't you sell it? I was like, because I was a dumbass. That's why I didn't sell it. I let the contracts go. I gave my contracts away to my staff. I have, 2 or 3 different people that are doing contracts and have been doing them for years. And I just said, look, they're yours. I'm going to write an email to the client and tell them that I am giving them to you, and I will help you get your license, your insurance, and all that stuff. And it's over. Like, I'm done. I was just doing a complete purge of everything at that point. So I get it, and sometimes people are handed something that they're not ready for. And that was certainly me at that time. But, again, and I guess today this will be part of the introduction, is that, if there's anything that I realized throughout all this, is that you can't wait. There's no better time than a day. Nothing's going to happen tomorrow that's going to make it better than it was today, because it's the same shit every day. You get in that roller coaster, you get that on the wheel, you get, whatever you want to call it, and you just keep making an excuse to not start today. You got to start today. Now is the time. And it doesn't matter what everything else is saying, all the minutia, all the outside influences, the news, the people, your family. Like, if you don't start today, you're never going to start, because you're just going to keep putting it off. And, I'm fortunate that I am a cliff jumper. I'm the opposite of almost everybody out there, is that I'll jump first and then figure it out later. And I don't know where that comes in my mindset. And I still do things to that degree, but not quite like I did in the beginning. But because that's how I have built things now. So then I had nothing to lose. Well, I mean, what did I have to lose? I was living on my buddy's couch. I was making $100, $200 a week. You know what I mean? Like, I had hit rock bottom. Like, what else were they going to take from me? I lost my house, my cars, my real estate. I lost the money. I lost everything. Like, what were they going to take from me? So why not reach out and start a catering company from nothing? Like, you had basically $178 in your checking account, and you just didn't know what you were going to do next. Like, why not? Like, just do it. Who cares? Because then it puts me in the frame of mind, I got to make this work, because I got nothing else now. You know what I mean? Like, there's some people that talk about the 70-30 plan, whereas that you get to the point where, you're making 70% more. You're using 70% of the time. You're making over 50% more than you're making at your full-time gig. And then that's when you transition over. But, there have been times that I would have just said, the hell with this. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much. Like, I'll just stick to the easy money, and kept going. So you have to do what's good for you. I can't tell you that. I always say burn the boats. I got a hat. You can read everything that's sitting behind me. You know what I mean? And I live by every one of the mantras. Mantras, mottos, all that kind of stuff. Like, I truly believe you have to burn the boats, and there has to be no other options, or you're never going to really commit what you need to commit. I slept when I started this catering business. You hear me talk about it all the time. I used to sleep on the couch. That used to be it technically wasn't our office at first, and then it was our office, and it was the bridal room for weddings at Cristiano Memorial Hall. And I used to sleep in there because the drive home and the drive back was 40 minutes of sleep that I could get if I just slept on the couch. I mean, would I have done that knowing, you know what? Why am I going to do that 3:00 in the morning gig? I could just go to work and make a little bit of money, and I don't have to worry about it. Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, I did it because I needed that money. I needed that money for payroll. I needed that money for insurance. I needed that money for everything. You know what I mean? So, like, and I had to keep, building and building and building and building. So, I did the jobs. We took, I never said no to anybody. Ask Pamela Mays, who used to be the events coordinator at the chamber. Now she helps her son with his marketing and promotions at his company. That used to be her moniker when she would introduce me. It's like, call Sherm. He never says no. He'll help you out. Because I did. I mean, we had to grow, and we had to grow fast. And saying no to people just doesn't the answer. Now, is it the smart thing to do to grow? Not necessarily. You have to figure it out and decide. And you have to make sure that you're doing things good. But again, today is the time. There's no other time besides today. I can't say it enough. You know what I mean? It says the induction is, it's your time is now. I repeat, your time is now, and I can't say that enough. I want to start by encouraging you not to hesitate. Stop believing you must wait to be great. There's no great time. What that means is you can't wait for the right moment. You can't wait for the right part of the time. There is no right moment. There is no right time. Any decision I make has nothing to do with that. It has to do with we're turning and we're going a certain direction, and we did it this way and it didn't work. So I click it one more degree. All right, now what if we do it this way? You're constantly adjusting the wheels on everything you do to see how I get to where I think I'm supposed to be going tomorrow. And then what happens is, just like when you get to an intersection, if the light's green, you go through it. If the light's red, then you look. All right, is there traffic ahead? Is there construction? Should I detour and go around? Like, you're constantly making those decisions. We live in a world where people are quick to tell you what you cannot do. People will tear you down way quicker than they will build you up. I faced a lot of doubt and negativity in the beginning of my entrepreneur journey. This is a true story. And my father passed away a couple years ago. So, but I said this when he was alive, and I said it to his face. He told me he would never make it. I started my cleaning company, and Delmar, he worked for Delmar Power. He's a building maintenance supervisor, and they were contracted out to bid the cleaning for pretty much like the whole East Coast. There was a couple up in PA, mainly Delaware, some in Maryland and Virginia. And I went to him and said, hey, can you help me, get this bid together? I'd like to bid on it. And he said, you're not big enough to do that. I wouldn't even worry about doing it. Instead of helping me, instead of like encouraging me to try, regardless that I was going to get it, or regardless that I was big enough, he just basically, shot it down. Well, all that did was fuel my fire. I had already started cleaning one school. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to clean all the Catholic schools in Newcastle County. Like, that's going to be my next goal. You're right. I didn't get Delmar Power, and I didn't even bid on it. I called this secretary. She gave me some documents, and it was this big, huge, because they're part of the government and all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't understand, and there wasn't too many people I knew who I could go to help me with it. So I quit on that, but I turned it and said, I'm going to clean every Catholic school in Newcastle County. And that was my goal. And I didn't stop until I got almost every single one. There was only a couple that I didn't do. But the point was, it fueled the fire to, prove that I could do it, prove that I could be there. And sometimes, and I'm saying this and giving you an example because it doesn't have to be people you don't know. Sometimes it comes in from inside your own camp, and it sucks and it hurts. But I always tried to use everything as fuel versus an excuse as to why I couldn't do it. And that's the lesson of this story. That's the moral of the story, is you take the naysayers and turn them into fuel. And that's how you're going to get past everything, like in the beginning stages. Because it's not easy, because, everything's going 1,000 miles an hour because you've never done this before and you don't understand it. And it feels like you're missing so much, and it's fine. You are missing a lot, but don't worry about it. You just keep taking that one step and moving forward and grabbing the pieces together to get you started. And eventually you'll be able to pick up the momentum and you'll start, it's no different than running your first marathon or swimming your first swim meet. Like, there's some people that have been doing this a long time and they're swimming fast. You know what I mean? And you got to catch up, and it's just no different. Same thing. So while I've, in the next paragraph, I say, while I have a lot more work to do, I can say I have a lot of success in the last 20 years. I mean, we're going into 25 years now since I got out in 1998. So, it's really crazy. I've learned to run multiple businesses. I've employed thousands of people. I've had over 2,000 employees in over 25 years. But the point is, is that you learn every day. They're not mistakes. They're learning lessons. And it's all part of the process. There's really no guidebook to tell you how to run a business, because every business is run a little bit differently. Business itself is run primarily the same, no matter what business it is, but everything has its little minutia that you need to work on. your systems, your procedures, how it's made, how it's serviced, how it works, how you deal and treat with the customers. So the next thing I'm going to tell you in the preface of this book, and then we're going to stop right around there because we're at 20 minutes, is that you really, really need to find and surround yourself with some good people. And I'm going to define good people. Good people aren't going to be people that tell you yes to everything. Good people aren't the good people that tell you no to everything. Good people are good people that are going to help you think every situation through. And not all good people make the same decisions, and it helps. So you have to get some people around you that, one, you got to get somebody that works hard. Like that always works hard. They don't make excuses, and they never let people down, because that's the person that's going to be there when you're ready to quit. When you're making that decision, is this really worth it? Do I really want to continue to do this? That person's going to tell you, they're going to ones to look you straight in the face and straight in the eye and say, hey, why did you start this? And you're going to go, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, have you got there? No. Well, let's keep working on it. Then you're going to have the person that you have questions about. Maybe it's business. Maybe it's not necessarily legal, but it's, like you're having like a sales issue. Somebody that works in sales in other corporations, especially large, big companies, banks or service tech companies that are huge. They've probably been to a lot of training that they can help you with the bit of sales, because as an entrepreneur, you're not great at everything. You're great at a few things, and then you have to become good at things. And then once you become good at things, then you attract good people to fill those spots. Good people that work with sales, good people that do, they put 80% of their time is into the good, maybe building the product, maintaining the product, setting the product out, talking to the customers, dealing with the customers, kind of thing. So you need all those people in there, and you need all those people in your life, and you need them because things are going to get tough. And when they get tough, you need people that are going to encourage you to move forward, not encourage you to quit. So I'm not saying you have to get rid of all your friends and family and all that kind of stuff. What I'm saying is you have to go to a place sometimes where there's good people doing similar things around you. Some people always say, well, sure, and where is that? Go to a chamber, go to a networking meeting, go to, whatever you like to do. If you like to swim, go, there's good people around you. And if you guys are, or you play tennis or golf or some type of sport, or you're in some kind of club, whatever it is, there's people who are good at that, and you get your mind off what you're doing, but you're also thinking in the same process, because, it's all we do all day is think. And surrounding yourself by good thinking people that are going to help you continue to push your bar and push your level. Get around other business owners. They're everywhere. There's business owners in every aspect of what we do every day and every part of your life. Ask them where they hang out. Say, hey, would you mind if I buy you lunch? I want to talk to you. 90% of the time, they're going to say yes. We all want to help each other. I did this. I didn't do this to sell this book for $10 or 14 or whatever the hell it is on Amazon. And if you want a book, just inbox me. Send me your information and I'll sign a copy and send it to you for free. I don't care about the $14. What I care about is I want to help somebody, because there was a lot of pain in these last 25 years of building this company and these companies and learning. And there's ways to not make the same mistakes. And that's really, at the end of the day, why I do this, is because I want you to know, one, I stood in your shoes. I stood in that same trench with muddy boots, raining, while you're like, why am I doing this? I don't understand. And then either somebody kicked me in the pants, I kicked myself in the pants, I jumped off the cliff and said, I don't care, I'm going to do it, and I'll figure it out. By the time I hit the ground, it'll be fine. There's other people like you out there. There's other people trying to do this like you are. We're all in different levels, and that's fine, but we can help you. We can help each other, because when I help you, I learn. And when I'm helping you, you learn. And then I'm learning again, and I can, because I have, let's see, you have 400 different scenarios right now. I probably have 50,000. So when you say something, I can roll it through what's happened with me and go, okay, have you thought of this? this, this, and this. And you go, okay, yes, I have. And this is what happened. And I go, okay. And then I can come back with it because you have the finite experience that you don't have as many things to have a relationship or bounce them off of, and I have a few more, and then there's people that have even more than me. So and then if I can't figure it out, I'm going to ask somebody else, and I'm going to try to help you either way. You know what I mean? Because it's just how it works. You know, like that's what we do as small business owners. So at the end of the day, I hope this introduction and this first podcast on the book just gave you a fresh, maybe some fresh air. Maybe it's giving you like, hey, he's right. I can do this. I can take care of it. Or maybe it's like, no, bullshit, I'm done. I don't know. I hope it helps you in one way, shape, or form, or we are just getting started and maybe it's still overwhelming. And it's fine. It's going to be overwhelming. I promise you that it wasn't easy. I promise you that there are plenty of days where I just said, this is some bullshit. I think I'm going to quit. But I didn't have anything else. So like I couldn't make it. I mean, everybody feels that vulnerable moment. But at the end of the day, I took a deep breath and I said, you know what? Tomorrow's another fight. I did as well as I could today. I had some great experiences. I had some things that didn't work out so good. But we're gonna tackle it again one more time tomorrow, and we're gonna try to do it better tomorrow and see how we do. And I took that experience and we moved forward. But at the end of the day, if success is your destination, then I'm here to help you. And with that being said, I want to finish how I started, and I will let you know if you're going to do this, now's the time. There is no other time. There is no other way. If you have any questions, leave a comment in it, tell me here and I'll help you out. Again, till tomorrow. One